I just recently finished my CCNA, and so what I believe I'm going to try to do next, at least it's the plan for today, is to follow up my CCNA routing and switching with something DevNet related. Now, in my professional background now, I'm involved with security testing, and my specialty that I'd like to pursue would be automation, so that you can use DevNet to automate your security and do your penetration testing, do your follow-up testings, things like that. So if you're familiar with Cisco, this should be no surprise, but they just redid all of their certifications as of February 24th of 2020. And they're going to have DevNet at multiple levels, associates, professionals, and expert. And so I've been trying to figure out where's my niche, where would I pursue something that falls in line with my interests, my abilities, my background, things like that. And what I believe has the best value for myself as well as the industry would be automating and programming Cisco security solutions, the 300-735. So when I was pursuing my CCENT and my CCNA, parts of it were pretty painful. And so I'm just going to put this together to try and make it easy for anyone else who decides to follow through a similar path. So this is the Cisco page. If you go to developer.cisco.com, you'll see something like this. Usually you can find Cisco stuff pretty easily with Google. So just Google automating programming Cisco security and this key number here, 300-735. If you've never taken a Cisco certification before, there's something called the CBP, the Cisco Blueprint. This is what you definitely want to make sure you hit. It gets kind of confusing and diluted at times as you go to different sources of information, CBT Nuggets. My personal favorite is Pluralsight, Boson. You have Cisco Press Books. You have different things that you can use. But whatever path you take, always come back to this. Come back to the Cisco Blueprint. And the Cisco Blueprint has all of the objectives. So what I did for my CCNA was I went through these objectives and I copied and I pasted them into a Word document and I created a checklist. Well, checklist with fill in the blank paragraphs. And so what I did was it said, if it said describe OSPF and gateway protocols, then I would write it out in the following lines. If it said configure OSPF for multiple AS regions or something like that, then that was a checklist and I would go do the lab, and then when I felt comfortable doing it, then it got a check mark. And that saved me on the CCNA. The CCNA pass, I believe, is still 811, and I would have failed because of some of the obscure topics which the objectives brought to light, such as northbound and southbound APIs, software-defined networking, Epic AM, different things like that, automation for testing, and some of the new things that Cisco, or new to me, has come out with. So my point in all of that is, if you get overwhelmed, come back to this and just start going through them one by one. You know, can you describe the characteristics of an API style? And so there's a lot of people where they'll just take that exact line and that's the name of their document. So if you Google that, a lot of times you'll find great material that answers that specific item. So describe challenges encountered and patterns when consuming APIs synchronously and asynchronously. Interpret Python scripts, explain, describe, explain, describe. So this definitely is more conceptual. Anyway, so you can see here that Cisco puts it into buckets. So the top bucket is Network Programmability Foundation. Makes sense, foundation. This is about security, so of course you should know the fundamentals of different network security. And then Advanced Threat and Endpoint Security. So this is where the tire meets the road, if you will. And then finally, cloud. Everything is going either cloud, hybrid cloud, or somewhere in between those. So you have cloud, web, and email security. You can see here, this is all brand new. So this hasn't even gone live because it goes live February 24th. which is 20 days from when I'm recording this. So anyway, on my YouTube channel here, I'm going to go through this. I'll create labs as applicable. I'm going to look for intro to Python tools. I've got some type Python background, not a lot. So hopefully things that I learn along the way will help ease some of the pain for other people. So thanks, and be sure to subscribe.